So I'm trying to think of like how to start this session, how to start this video, and what to talk about first, and what needs to be recognized over the past like couple weeks, month or so, or over the last 4 years. Because we've been through a lot, and we keep going through a lot, and I know a lot of us are feeling it. I know I'm feeling it, and things haven't been really going maybe the way you expect them to. We are out of Mercury retrograde, but we are still kind of in the shadow of that energy, so there's still going to be some disconnection. I've already experienced it. Even when I think I'm right on top of it, time is constantly teaching me that it doesn't really matter. Time is a weird construct that we've created to give structure to something that doesn't really have structure in a lot of other places. And oh hey, Lauren Arnke, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, it's crazy for how many like things I'm late to, and then things I'm ridiculously early to, and then I have things stuck in my mind that this is the time, and then I'm an hour off. And I'm pretty organized, but I got a lot going on. Speaking of Lauren Arnke, she helped trim up my do the other day, and it's so good. Thank you, by the way. Even my mom complimented it the other day. And I don't remember her being very complimentary the first time I cut all my hair off. Sorry, Mom, if you're on here. So, yes, I got to go and get a very safe trim of my own, because I've been safely doing some other people's hair, slowly but surely. So that was a nice little treat. And but I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling very frustrated and angry these last couple days. There's no other way to put it. Like the energy just kind of shifted from that, but the last few days the energy has been really primed for arguments and aggressions and misunderstandings and tempers, and your emotions being near the surface, and all kinds of stuff. Like it was just palpable. More anxiety, and it's interesting how we can all go through it together and not even realize we're going through it together. Hi, Crystal from Iowa. Time is so funky, says Lauren. I love being on time. I tend to be about 5 minutes behind always. Yep. So yeah, there's just so much going on right now, so much to touch on, that it's hard to talk about the next cycle without talking about where we were. And where we've been is it's been interesting, and it's been rough, and it's been a lot of lessons. It's been challenging, but then I feel like it's opening a lot of doors also. I think it's easy for us right now to get caught up in how things are going wrong, that we miss how these things are actually opening up pathways for where we're really supposed to be. I know for us personally, we are now in a serious moves to buy a home, and it's going to be a lot smaller than we expected. But, you know, we're in this position a little sooner than we expected, but we've just accepted that that's what's supposed to be happening right now, and that even though there was an unfortunate, you know, situation that led to us being being in a position that we didn't think we were ready for, is turning out to be, I think, a blessing. So I think there's a lot of that going on. A lot of like losing jobs, but then suddenly there's a good one around the corner. You know, there can be conflicts with other people, but in turn, it's like giving you a stronger sense of self. Um, there's a reason why we're experiencing these extreme polarities right now, and why we're so divided. And yes, it's unfortunate that we're all divided. And it's interesting that we feel more divided than ever right now, and there is an energetic truth behind that we have to kind of swing to this extreme, because we've already been at this other extreme, swinging to the one extreme to the next, and then that way finding the middle. I've always been a proponent of this theory. And sometimes, you know, when people are too rigid about their life, then they finally let go and they like swing way too far into being crazy, and then they gotta like find the happy medium. So we are on this planet learning from opposites. It's a teaching planet of opposites. So when we're asking for things, we're asking to learn patience, what do we get? We get difficult situations that try our patience and test our patience. You know, when we're asked to learn what love is, a lot of the time we learn what love is not first. A lot of the time we see the ugly side of what love and lust and, you know, and codependency and obsession can do to a person before you can find a healthy, balanced love. So I think this is really a good time for us to recognize that, to not get caught up in, oh my God, you know, we're so divided, this and that. It's leaning into like, okay, so here we are. Here we are. Things are things feel divided. They appear to be divided. They are divided in a physical sense. We are not divided in a soul sense, no matter how divided we are in a physical sense. So what can we do with that? Where can we go? So this last cycle of this first Cancer new moon was very emotional. I called it the crying season, even though I actually didn't cry as much as I thought I would. But man, I moved through some powerful stuff at the beginning of the season. Ooh, did anybody else just see that? Something that looked like an orb, really cool orb or something, just like floated that way. It could have maybe been a dog hair, but it looked like an orb. So, where was I? No, I got off track. So, with moving from this very emotional, I mean, our emotions were out, man. I know mine were out, and the cool thing about it, even though there was probably drama, tension, hard conversations are happening right now, arguments on Facebook are happening, even if it feels like we aren't, you know, getting anywhere in the argument, like, you're still making an impact on each other. There's still something happening there. We're still doing the work. We're still working it out together. No matter what it looks like, because it's messy. We're messy. We're people. We're messy. So moving from that, the thing that I ended up seeing in these last couple weeks is that now people are really feeling strongly about their emotions. And I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, or that maybe it feels like people have always been strong about their emotions, and it's sad that some people do not know where to focus their emotions. They do not know where to focus their anger. There's a lot of shooting the messenger right now, and I'm trying to figure out a different phrase for that, because it seems really harsh in our current climate, but like, you know, this phrase like, don't shoot the messenger. That's what's happening every day when we see people reacting to new policies and rules to the person in front of them that's just telling them that that's not the person, and has to enforce that rule, not the person who necessarily like made that rule. Our poor grocery store workers. Everyone deserves a raise. So we're yes, it can seem chaotic for some, but I've also seen some people be really empowered by their emotions and, you know, just realize like, hey, this is how I feel. And I feel this way because of valid reasons, either from experience plus knowledge, from, you know, from knowledge that you're passionate about certain truths. There's a lot of ways that we get to those emotions. And I think there's a reason why we're all really having to tap into them. And whether you're handling them well or not, they're still coming up. They're still not being denied. And that is progress. It's just that everybody is on a different path of progress. And I can't help but think of just like some of these people are just exploding and are getting recorded and are just like, they are emotional time bombs. And as horrible as their behavior is, it's sad, because that means that these people have so much pain in them that they haven't been able to deal with. And this goes into the fact that I feel like this is really what's going on right now in our current climate with the Black Lives Matter movement, with the movement of equality in this country, and the balancing of power and money in our nation that is so needed. The reason, or the theory I have of why we're the response to things like Black Lives Matter, the response to Black Lives Matter, of all lives matter, is that these people that are like, well, all lives matter, what they're really saying is they think that you're saying they don't matter. We've heard this theory. But going deeper than that, this is a group of people who have not been able to ever be in a safe place for their trauma to be looked at, or for their trauma to be validated, and then to be healed from it. We all have some level of trauma in us. If you're a human being, it's like comes with the territory, and this response. And I've probably talked about this before, but I want to be very clear, like, the response is so much deeper than just, like, an ignorant racism. And I'm not defending it, by all means. I hate that response. Black Lives Matter, this is an important movement in our society, and I will do everything I can to contribute to the solutions and not the problem. But to be able to call these people in, for them to be able to see why their response is not necessarily healthy, why their response is problematic, we first have to call them in to recognize, you know what, you probably have suffered in your life, or they need to go somewhere where they can get that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not our responsibility to go around and be like, well, let me validate your trauma, privileged white man. Like, go get therapy. You can go get therapy, go talk to a friend, or go find somebody who wants to talk to you. If you want to talk to me about it, I'll talk to you about it. You might not like everything I have to say about it, but I'll talk to you about it. So this is the polarity. Again, this is another example of this polarity that we're experiencing. And it's because as a society, we've been taught to, did I lose the live? As a society, I don't know why I just went away. Yep. Okay, so as a society, I'm trying to see where I am at in what I'm talking about. Dang it! What's happening with this internet? Freaking internet. If you can see me, clap once. Okay. Okay. I think we're back. I apologize. Technical difficulties. Again. Patience. Yes. Lessons of opposites. So, a lot of reasons why we're in these polarities, this illusion of division. Okay. She sees me. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Piper. Yes, Crystal, 2020 is being lessons a lot about truth. Yep. And a big lesson I'm learning and the big lesson I'm trying to instill on others is your opinion is different than the truth. That your opinion, I mean, although there can be truth behind your opinion, sometimes we can be sharing knowledge and sometimes we are sharing our opinion. And our opinion is usually, thank you everybody for saying you see me. Our sole opinion is usually just our experience. And the truth is knowledge. Knowledge is the truth. Things that you learn. Things that you learn that maybe aren't part of your experience. Like, I know that systemic oppression is built into our country, and that all white people are inherently racist because we've benefited from systemic white supremacy. I know that. And I had to learn that in order to actually see what my experience was. So when I share these things about Black Lives Matter, it's because I've learned something about somebody else's experience. And so that is not an opinion, it's a knowledge, it's a truth. So a lot of these people are speaking from fully experience and not knowledge. I mean, there's things we learn through experience, but there's facts and knowledge that we learn too. So be aware. Just be aware of when you are speaking with people. Trust me, I am not perfect. If you're watching this right now and you've seen me argue with people on Facebook, whew, we're all learning. We're all taking it day by day. Sometimes we're polite, sometimes we're not. And I think we've been in this emotion, and I'm hoping that what you're getting out of this is that, and I'm talking way longer about this than I thought I would always, and what I hope you get out of this is that you at least recognize where your emotion is coming from and stand strong in it. Who cares if it, like, I feel like we should be more unapologetic at this point about how we feel. And we're trying to be more heart-centered beings anyway. So this is the time. This is the time for us to really tap into that. And so this transition from Cancer season, and then we have a second Cancer moon, into Leo season is gonna really fortify that. I think this is gonna be a really powerful transition where now that we know how we feel about things, the Leo energy is really going to just solidify how we feel about certain things and really help us see if it's worth our time and energy. Like, that's really what it's all about. We really have to make sure that we're looking within and looking, and it sounds counterintuitive, but there is something about, like, paying attention to what you're doing, being present in your moment, and grounding into you and your emotion and how you feel really affects how you are out there in the world. And you can't help fix the world, or you can't help heal other people or heal the world if you're not totally healed yet. I mean, I shouldn't say totally healed, because healing is like a lifetime thing, but until you're healed in a way that allows you to spend more time, on money, and energy out in the world with other people. Okay, so that's my energy rant. Spiritual and social all at the same time. That's what we strive for here at Meryl's Mystic. We are on the earth and we are in the stars all at the same time, all together. Okay, so let's get into the tarot scopes, and then we'll see if we can answer some questions for some people. The new moon will be next Tuesday, and then the 21st, and then the Leo season starts on the 23rd. So this is our second new moon in Cancer. I hope I said that before. I thought I might have said Leo. So what was I going to say about that? We're coming out of retrograde season. We're coming out of eclipse season. So things should kind of maybe start to even out a little bit. Don't hold your breath too much. It's kind of like things should start evening out in here. Things are only going to start evening out there, or start, feeling better out there, if we all are making sure that we're feeling calm and grounded and in our power over here. And then you take your light out into the world, and then you ripple out love, and you affect people better than these people who don't know how to express their emotions and just all over people and wave their guns around like idiots. Okay. Before we get in, let's see what people are saying. Rachel, not illusion of division. Not illusion of division. I think the division is, there is an illusion of the division. Gosh. Let me I was gonna see if I turn the internet off on my other stuff, if that works. We had it fixed, and then we thought it was fixed, and then it's not. Okay, so not illusion of division. I'm interested in what you mean, because I was saying that there is, I think the division is an illusion. We're physically divided. We're not spiritually divided, even though we can feel like that when religion comes into. I'm saying, like, on a soul level, we're all still connected. We're all going through this. We're in the same. We might be in different boats, but we're in the same ocean. In the same storm, same ocean storm. Crystal's neighbor lady passed away, and a cat's been meowing at the door, meowing. Yeah, cat animals are so sensitive to that stuff. I was just watching Dr. Sleep again the other night because that movie's awesome. And I want to dress like that lady. But the cat, and I've seen this in other situations with hospice, that if there's a cat there, the cat a lot of the time knows when people are about to pass into spirit, and will go and be with that person when they pass. So that's really cool. Yes, worker. What is that? English as a second language worker, which is really cool. Hi, Nikki. Crystal, 2020 big bummer. Hope we do better in 2021. I don't think it's a huge bummer. There's definitely been a lot of bummers about it, but I am a morbid optimist. I know that's an oxymoron. But I truly believe in my heart of hearts that everything happens for a reason, even really horrible things. I believe on a soul level, we're benefiting from all of it. And if you ask those that are really close to me, they'd be like, this bitch, she's so emotional. She takes everything personally. She cries. She think like she crazy. You know what I mean? And then I'm sitting here like, everything happens for a reason, you guys. Like, I don't want to say that in like a spiritual bypassy, like, let's all just do love and light. Like, that's not the jam here. That's not what we're doing. We're doing honesty. But in all of my experience and all the things that I've learned and continue to learn, it continues to fortify that we are so much more than this physical plane on a soul level, and that everything that happens here is happening for a reason, whether we find out now or when we pass into spirit. It's all necessary. And unfortunately, I heard that 21's going to be kind of nuts too. Like, it's going to take these next couple years for us to it's going to take a while. We have to break down the old system that's not working and rebuild it. And as you can see, the system's stubborn, and a bunch of stupid men run it. So so it's going to take a little while. So buckle up. Seats and tray tables in your upright position, because we're in it for the ride. We're here for a reason. Your soul chose to be here for a reason, to be here during this great, what I've heard people say it, and I've heard people say it that attached to like crazy conspiracies, the Great Awakening. We're all here for the Great Awakening, They've been talking about it since the 60s, baby, since the age of Aquarius. Okay. Let's see here. I always do this. I always misplace my little, like, list of signs so that I don't have to think about it and get lost. Too many papers. Nope, okay. We're just gonna go for it. Okay, we'll start with Leo. Okay, Leo, so, happy birthday, all you Leos coming up. So for Leo, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords, I feel like, has been coming up a lot lately. The King and Queen of Swords have always been like the meditation masters, and I heard this great thing today that was like they are capable of love, because air signs are all head usually and not a lot of heart, but the King and Queen are evolved, so they are in touch with their heart. They just use their head a little bit more. Hi Brittany. And then the Queen is a little bit more rigid in her thinking, just from her experience. The King is a little, even though traditionally, which I was just thinking about this, that I really want to make an androgynous tarot deck where even maybe I do like the queens are all like drag queens and the kings are drag kings, like, because it's just the vibe, it's just like the feminine vibe and the masculine vibe. And in the storyline, the king is supposed to be just like a little bit more evolved than the queen, but we all know who's the real evolved one. So the queen is just a little bit more rigid in her thinking, because she's just, from her experience, she's got stronger boundaries, and she can, and when she's in reverse, I like to say she's a cold hard bitch, but she's not in reverse. So what is this telling you, Leo? Leo has been on quite the journey recently, I feel like, to really heal some old wounds and to step in your power. And now with the Queen of Swords coming up, it's kind of like for a time for you to really step into your voice and realize that your voice has power. What you say has power, how you say it. It's kind of like I feel like it's in the natural progression of how you've been evolving these last few months, that you were, you needed to heal some things, and then you were on your path of purpose, and you were starting to attract all these things to you, and it was like time for you to really just really be in your power. And at this point now, it's like you feel good, and now it's time for you to like be able to express how you're feeling, or express whatever your gift is to the world. Like, what do you have to tell the world? What's your story? Does it need to be shared? Could people benefit from it? Is there, you know, do you need to be nurturing your voice in some sort of way? Do you need to go, you know, do you need to take some singing lessons or acting lessons? Something that's expressive. It really feels expressive. It really feels about like how you're expressing yourself out to the world. Do you have a blog? Are you on social media? Like, all these ways of expressing your voice. It's really time for you to start exploring that and to own that and figure out what feels good for you, what needs to be said, how it needs to be said. And I think too, it's like somebody's going to benefit from it. There's going to be some sort of benefit from you sharing who you are and your story and how you got there. Okay, Leo, that's a good one. Okay, Libra. Yeah, Libra. Right? No, Virgo. Virgo's next. Sorry, Libra. So Leo, then Virgo, then Libra. You threw me off, Piper. Okay, so Virgo, 9 of Cups. This is really cool. 9 of Cups, I feel like, has been coming up a lot lately, too. So, Virgo, you need this. You work so hard to, you know, take care of everybody else and be on top of the shit. And it's a lot more for you. You make it look so easy, but it's so much more work for you than you let on. And you have, like, this is like a gift of you needing to like sit in your emotional, it's okay, Piper. Oh, I'm a Virgo moon also. So this is a permission, I feel like, to really sit in emotional contentment. Like, really feel like we talked about this, I feel like the last new moon, that we were talking about how you were not letting yourself really feel into the moment and really feel the emotion of what's going on, because you were just so caught up with like making sure everybody else was okay and everything's all right. It's like there's, maybe you've gotten a reward recently, you've been recognized for your work, you got a raise, you got a new job that was something that you didn't think you were going to get. Like, something happened that felt like, oh man, I didn't really think this was going to happen, but this is like such a recognition for what I've been doing, and you didn't think anybody noticed. Like, somebody's noticing, and you need to accept those accolades and sit in like just feeling so good about it. Like, it just feels so like, oh, finally what I've been working for is just the recognition. Like, I finally got recognition. Like, look, I'm like glowing for you. and also the fact that like there's the thing about this card is that it looks like he did it on his own, but he didn't. Virgo, you have a team, a family, you know, comrades, your people behind you that is supporting you. So make sure you share with them this celebration, this achievement. Make sure you share with them that what you've worked for, you've accomplished. That feels very proud. You should be proud. You should feel proud for what this is bringing you. And you need to let those around you celebrate with you, because they see how hard you've worked and they know that you've deserved it. Yes. Okay. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Libra. Ooh, the Emperor in reverse, Libra. So a lot of the time when the Emperor in reverse comes up, it's all about like letting your walls down. Oh, Paulo, hola, no habla inglés, lo siento. One day, unos días, muy poquito español, lo siento. So, the Emperor in reverse for Libra. So, a lot of the time, sorry, I got distracted. This comes up with when it's time to let your walls down or let your guard down, or you've had too much of your, it feels like maybe you've had too much of your guard up, or you've been trying to act really tough, which is really weird for you, Libra. So I almost wonder if maybe it's not like you almost, because it's not like you to have walls up, Libra, so maybe do you need to have your walls up? You know, do you need a little bit more emotional boundary? This kind of feels like internal, like it's, you don't need, it's not like you need physical distance. It's no physical distance. It's about like almost emotional. Oh, my hair's doing something crazy. Emotional distance. What the hell? So think about what, like, it's almost like you got to be a little bit more present where you are emotionally. It all, like, especially, it feels like, especially if you're in a relationship, it's like, keep some of the cards close to your chest for a little while. You know what I mean? Like, don't give them too much if they're not giving, if they're not giving you very much. Does that make sense? Like, making sure that, like, when you are letting your guard down, like, that person earned it. Like, the Emperor does not let anybody in, like, in here. It's he's the tarot daddy. So imagine, like, if you were dating, I mean, imagine if we were dating and we were non-binary, and it didn't matter who you were dating, your dad was like, I gotta make sure this person is good enough for my child. You know, and so what would he do? He would make sure, you know, he would vet that person and shake their hand really intimidatingly and ask them questions that would maybe make them, you know, feel a little nervous, but he's making sure that you're in good hands. So you need to do that for yourself. So you really need to make sure that who you're letting your boundaries down with has really earned it. Piper says boundaries is her word of the year. That's a great word of the year. Boundaries are your friends. They're the best. Okay. Scorpio. Ooh, Queen of Wands, Scorpio. I know as a Scorpio, I need this reminder. Is that I can, like, this one's for me because hi Heather, I love you too. Because there's something going on right now where we are really, like, really getting in our heads and really questioning, like, our capabilities and our values, and we shouldn't be doing that. Stop it. Stop questioning your gifts. Stop questioning your gifts, your capabilities. I had a moment this morning. I was reading cards for myself because I needed some insight, and what came up was that I realized that in the last week or so, from people I've been talking to, or from my business coach and other connections I'm making, what's being reflected back to me is that I am well liked, which is like a weird thing to say about yourself, but that's what's being reflected to me. And the phrase, or I'm being well received, that's what I should say. I'm being well received, which I actually would rather be well received than well liked. And that the phrase that's been said to me by 3 different people is that I, am the holder, or I have great wisdom within me. And as much as I like to believe I'm an old soul and I've been here lots of times, I question that a lot because I still feel kind of young, I mean, I don't feel like some wise crone, but I don't feel necessarily like a young maiden. But they're all parts of me, and this is really about, for Scorpio, is that, like, we have to really sometimes the internal voice gets louder than even, like, what the outside world is saying to you, and the outside world is saying, like you're fine. And then inside you're like, but am I? Like, I don't know. Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I'm okay, And the Queen of Wands is all about, like, just being magnetic and being in your power and trusting who you are and trusting your path and knowing that you actually don't have to work that hard. And I even saw another Scorpio tarot reader, and I think it was Amber Khan. Yes, it was Amber Khan, Quietest Revolution. Look her up. She's amazing. She was saying for Scorpio too, that you're so used to getting by on like just being you and putting in the work. You know what I mean? Like if I think back on my life, like if I really set my mind to something, 9 out of 10 times would work out because I worked at it. I put my energy into it. I showed up as my best self. Like, and that really is a lot of this Queen of Wands, and Scorpios are really like that. So it's been lately, which was validated for me, it hasn't been feeling like things have been working out of the old formula. And the thing about that is that, again, like I said at the very beginning, time is messing with me. Time is teaching us it doesn't really matter. Time is also teaching us that there's a right time. There's a certain divine timing that goes with everything. And we were working all this hard for all these things, thinking like this should be happening right now, when in fact it shouldn't have. That it couldn't have been the same. Like weeks, months, years ago. It has to be right now. So again, really being present. I feel like that comes up a lot with the queens and the kings, is like really being present. And being with who you are, and really being receptive of how you're being received and what's being reflected back to you about who you are. That's a pretty cool message. Oh, thank you. Thanks, y'all. Brittany says I'm an old soul. Nikki says I've always known you were powerful. I've always known you were powerful, Miss Nicolette. Okay. After Scorpio is Sagittarius. Haven't you gotten this card recently, Sagittarius? I'm gonna go look back because I feel like this might not have been around this last time, but the time before that. What is this? Why does this keep happening to you, Sag? Why are you having really hard time? Yeah, Rachel, your last year has been for fuck me. Oh, Heather, did you miss Virgo? I did Virgo already. Dang it, you're gonna have to go back and watch it. But I'll pull you some cards after we finish the tarot scopes. I have to keep going. Okay, so the thing about this is that, like, you're so close. You're so close to getting everything that you want, but for some reason, like, you keep being stalled right here. You keep being stalled. Things just aren't working out. Yeah, like, we have done this. I feel like we have done this, or I feel like maybe, like, I pulled it for Rachel, and I pulled it for another Sagittarius recently. So the card before this, which is this was what Virgo was. So the one before this is the Nine of Cups. So since this is coming up still, let's talk about the Nine of Cups. And why, yes, and Rachel's saying, I'm in my own way. Why, yeah, that is a great intuitive answer for this, because that is kind of what it's feeling like. Because if you're stalled here, it means that you still haven't completed this lesson here. So what's going on with you that you are still not feeling content with yourself? You're still feeling maybe like there's something outside of you that is supposed to make you feel complete. Lauren says Sages she knows are struggling to deal with accepting abundance and they're acting out about it. Yes, again, there's like a block here. And it really does feel like it's starting with you. It's starting with you and how you feel about yourself. And you keep expecting like everything around you to change how you feel about yourself, but that's not how it works. Sorry. You have to figure out how you feel about yourself before the things outside of you will change. Because if you still don't really feel like you even deserve to feel content, then you're definitely not going to be able to attract what you really want and deserve. So you need to be here before you can get here. So then we need to ask, like, why haven't we gotten here? The card before this is the Eight of Cups. It's all about walking away from things no longer serving you. So maybe you're still holding on to some stuff. Maybe there's some old habits that you're still holding on to. Maybe you're not, maybe you're letting yourself get stuck. You're not, you're holding back so that you can't move forward. These are all possibilities. Yeah, if this is resonating with you and you need some help to get deeper in your own personal journey beyond even what we'll talk about today, yeah, and that grief definitely has no timeline. Rachel said part of hers is the grief. Grief has no timeline but its own, unfortunately. It's a bitch like that. So, okay, let's go on before I start plugging things. Okay, after Sag is Capricorn. Man, we have a lot of, quite a few reversals today, which is good because we're really still feeling into ourselves and our feelings. So, Page of Swords in reverse, Capricorn. This actually is kind of, a lot of the swords in reverse mean that there's time, it's probably time to we know you're intelligent, Capricorn, and you're organized, and you're smart, and you're clever, and you know how to get shit done. But sometimes we tend to over communicate. Sometimes we tend to talk down to people. Sometimes we tend to also just be stuck in our own thoughts and our own ideas and not open to other people's. And when the Page of Swords in reverse comes up, it's kind of about being quiet and listening and less talking. That sometimes, you can come up with so much with your brain, but sometimes to move forward or to move forward or to grow forward, we have to listen. We have to be quiet. We also, you know, it's the yin to the yang. Yang is talking, the yin is the quiet. And a lot of stuff happens in the quiet spaces just as much as the talking spaces. So this is really about remembering that, and remembering when there's times that need to be listened to right now. Okay, Capricorn. I feel like that was a rough one to tell you guys. Okay. You'll get your chance again. You'll get your chance again to say your ideas. And I feel like if you listen, and you're gonna get insight, and then it's gonna make your ideas even better for when it's your chance to talk again. It might be even better. What you say is gonna be even better than what you were gonna say before. Okay, Aquarius. Ooh, King of Wands in reverse. I'm doing a lot of reflecting today, y'all. A lot of, when these court cards come up in reverse, a lot of it is like, what's happening internally? It's what's happening internally, or are we stuck in a shadow area of this energy? So, like with Scorpio, there is a questioning of capability and value, Aquarius, which I feel like comes up a lot for you guys. I feel like sometimes a lot of Aquarians really easily slip into overthinking, and then it makes you, get a little more self-conscious than you would like to be. And so again, the King of Wands also is somebody who attracts people easily to them, but he needs to be careful. The warning for the king that doesn't come with the queen is that the king can get a little bit egoic, a little bit too in the ego when he's in shadow, where he can be, naturally magnetic, upright. Reverse, he can sometimes get manipulative, narcissistic, cocky. So make sure, it's almost like your response right now, your response could be that, it's like if your response to feeling insecure is like cockiness, like, what are you talking about? Almost like, this is like warning in this next season, is that don't, if people are inquiring about how you feel and how you're doing, don't brush them off and act like you're fine. If people are asking how you are, tell them. Or if you're feeling triggered by something, tell them. Hey, I need to talk to you about that, because that was, that actually hurt me. You guys can be kind of passive aggressive sometimes, and ignore people instead of telling them how you feel. And this can be the response. And so it does really feel like you need to let your people in. Don't lord over them or hold their emotions hostage, or their love for you hostage. It feels kind of like, stop playing games, man. Finally just let people in. Okay, this is the time to be honest with yourself, and it's kind of too, it feels like you might be holding back what you're saying, because then you're worried about people pleasing, and worried about how it's gonna be received, and how that person's gonna think of you. But if they really love you, and if you approach them in the right way, then I think they're gonna be more receptive than you think they are, for sure. Okay, Aquarius, Pisces is next. Oh, here we go. Okay, Pisces and then Aries, and then Taurus, and then Gemini, then Cancer. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, she's good. Okay. Ooh, Nicolette is booking Friday. That's what I was going to mention soon in the promo drops, is that if you're at the live and you book a reading with me, and there's a link in the description, if you use the keyword transform, all caps, you get $10 off a reading. That's for you fine, lovely people here today. Okay, so Pisces, the Fool. Pisces, you're really good. I feel like the Fool energy for Pisces is like a really good energy. We're all the Fool. The Fool is the 0. He's the beginning of the tarot. Technically, the Magician is the beginning of the tarot. But the Fool represents all of us in our journeys. You know what? Like our journey along the story of the major arcana. And the Fool comes along when he really wants to remind you that you just need to be where you're at. That it is about the journey and it's not about the destination. I think the Fool is one of the coolest cards. I love when he comes into a reading. I think his message is always simple yet powerful and validating, that you are right where you're supposed to be. So if you're right where you're supposed to be, what can you do to enjoy it? What can you do to find the magic in it? What can you do to be present and be fully in your life? To be fully on your path in the journey. You're on your path. The Fool is here to say you are on your path, Pisces. And you are a co-creator of your path. It is a combination of where the signs are taking you and also where you want to go. The give and take, the co-creation, you're in the flow. The Fool's in the flow. So where are you going to go? The world is your oyster. The sun's shining down on you. Your companion's on your side. I mean, you have to be careful. Make sure that you're looking ahead or you can easily trip and fall. But this feels too like a lot of you might be at the beginning of a journey, which is really validating also. And so it's like, get ready for the ride. Cool. Easy peasy, Pisces. Aries, the Wheel of Fortune. Karma, baby. Yes, the ebb and the flow for Pisces. Brittany says the ebb and the flow. That is correct. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune for Aries. This is the Wheel of Karma. When it's upright, it's usually good karma, good luck, good fortune. A lot of the time when it's reverse, it is bad luck. Be careful what you put out there because you're gonna get it back ×3. It's really nice that this comes up in upright for you, Aries. Like, that's everybody else has been having some hard lessons, it feels like, and then we get to Pisces and Aries and they're just doing great. Screw you guys. I'm just kidding. I love you. So the Wheel of Fortune for Aries, it's interesting because it feels like there's some comeuppance coming for you guys, especially if you've been working on yourself, working on your life. I know a lot of Aries, especially Aries women, really commit to themselves, commit to their journeys, and commit to who they want to be and are fiercely independent. So this feels like it's just things are going along the way they should be. And things are just going to start working out a little better for you. Like, that would be really nice, wouldn't it, Aries? the universe is telling you that you deserve some comeuppance. It might come with a few hard lessons. You know, we come by our lessons and our karma honestly, but in the end, it's all gonna work out the way it's supposed to. So enjoy it. Again, it's like enjoying the ride, enjoying it, being present in it, accepting it. Okay, after Aries is Taurus. Taurus, Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles a lot is when we're trying to balance things in the physical. Hi Donna, so glad you're here. So for Taurus, with this coming up is a lot. I feel like as much as it looks like he's like just balancing two things, a recent image that came to me recently reading this card is it's more like nowadays, because the original tarot is like 4,000 years old. I feel like for nowadays, it's more like he should be spinning plates. You know what I mean? Like, because how often are we just having like two things that we're balancing in life? It's like two things on my hands, two things on my feet, and my hips are like trying to hold up babies and jobs and my social life and my husband and my, you know, my partner and my girlfriend and some time to myself and, you know, making a difference in the world. And like, it's more like it's like spinning plates. But we have to recognize, like, there's still like a connection there. You still see that infinity. And again, we have our ebb and flow and our ups and downs, like Brittany just said. So where does that lie for you, Taurus? I feel like this card is kind of difficult to do for general, because we all have a lot going on, but we all have very specific things that we're balancing. And I want to talk about just balance in general, because this very much just feels like balancing just your everyday life. And that the thing about balance is that it can be really fleeting. It's almost like perfection. I feel like balance is becoming a word just as bad as perfectionism, where it's like we need to get away from that, because it's a really hard thing to reach. And we need to start by actually looking at our energy as like a ratio. And because there's no way that you can put 50 here, 50 here, 50 here, 100 here, 50 here, 100 here, 100 here, 100 here. You can put, you know, 50 here, 20 here, 30 here. It's about like, and it will switch. You know what I mean? It's like this month, the business gets a little bit more energy, and the kids and the friends and the husband gets a little less. And we're communicating to all them why they get a little less. But, you know, in a couple months, when this turning point comes around, the ratio is going to flip. And the kids and the husband and the friends get a little bit more, and the business gets a little less. Like, or sometimes the kids and the husband gets a little more, and the friends get less. Sometimes the friends and yourself gets a little more. It just depends on where you're at. Because balance feels like you have to have it even keeled all the time, and that's just not gonna happen. Like, it's just impossible. It's impossible for that to happen, and we have to be going with the flow more. So that really feels like a lot of the message that you guys are going to really work out this next month for Taurus, is that you're really going to figure out what is worth like keeping up in the air and keeping in the ratio, and what doesn't deserve any of this pie of yours. You can only really give 100% of your fuck bucks, of your pie energy, you know? So like, how much does everybody get? And how does that change, you know, as time goes on? How can you make that flexible? How can you communicate with the people close to you about how that's going to work? Excuse me, lots of talking. If my Taurus is still on here, I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay. Last two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. Okay, so Taurus, then Gemini, then Cancer. Okay. Gemini. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So, more reversals. This is because, Gemini, you might be giving a little bit more than you're taking, or you're taking a little bit more than you're giving. Which I feel like can go either way for Geminis. Because there's a duality to you. I feel like you're either extremely selfish or extremely selfless. So again, we're talking about this like balance, but this ratio of energy and figuring out where that's happening. Are you giving too much of yourself in certain aspects? Like, are you engaging too often with idiots on Facebook? Wink, wink. And you're not getting anything back, but feeling drained. I mean, also it's a little empowering, but the long term, if you kept going back for more, you know, the long term could be that you're drained. A lot of us are tired. A lot of us are tired right now. It's just the energy. And we're supposed to be trying to slow down and do less. You know, do less things so that we can do more purposeful things. Do less filler things and live more purposeful lives. So really look out. You know, this is really about boundaries, about nurturing your physical boundaries, making sure that you're not being taken advantage of, saying no when you need to say no. Yep, Nikki says she's giving too much, so tired. Yep. Yeah. So, I feel like this is a little bit about protecting your assets. I know it's Pentacles and and a lot of time we're talking about money, but I feel like when it's the 6 of Pentacles, we're talking about your time, energy, and money. Those are all currency in this world. We're talking about how you spend your currency, and your currency is your time, money, and energy. And how are you spending it? And how are you wasting it? And how are you accepting it from others? How are you blocking it from others? These are all good questions to be asking yourself right now and to be really aware of in the next month. Because this is a huge time for us really fine-tuning where it's worth putting our energy. Yes. Okay. Last but certainly not least, Cancer. It is almost the end of your season, Cancer. It was a powerful one. We all felt it like, damn. So, and Pisces and Aries over here doing just fine. Just kidding. Virgo doing real good too. I'm just kidding. I know we've all had our things, and if you want to go deeper into that, please I have a booking link. It's super easy right now. Any of the tarot sessions, if you use the keyword transform, all caps, you get $10 off any reading. Okay, so Cancer, Knight of Swords. So this is our one court card that is not in reverse, and it's probably good because the Knight of Swords is pretty straight up. The Knight of Swords thinks, you know, or acts without really thinking, or they make up their mind really quickly. He is the quickest moving of the knights. He really doesn't care who he steps on to get where he's going, to get to be heard. And really he even upright, I mean, reverse, he can be kind of a warning, but I feel like even upright, this card's always a little bit of a warning of be careful with your words. Just like the Queen of Swords needs to be careful, like, oh, I guess the Queen of Swords wasn't in reverse, luckily. So for some reason our swords are not in reverse, because we're really supposed to be figuring out how to use our words and how to use our head and our heart, and how we need to be heart-centered people, and being able to think before we speak, and also align before we speak. And the Knight of Swords, he needs it more than anybody. He really just goes there, without thinking twice, without caring who he steps on or who he hurts to get there. So I really caution you. I think Cancer, you're usually pretty mild-mannered and sweet, but once you get pushed to that point, like, you get your little claws out, almost Scorpio style, but, like, you get your little pinchers out, and you can really dig your heels in, like, pinch on. And I think this is really, like, warning you, like, really think about what you're saying. Like, we just had an emotional season. Think about, how are you being triggered? Where is this emotion coming from? Like, really just feeling it through and thinking it through before you're reacting. Take a step back before you react. But in the other sense, because I know that the energy of all my Cancer readings recently has been that it was time for you to get some changes going in your life. So there might be a decision that you've been sitting on, or something you've been waiting for, and this is here to tell you that the time is now. Maybe you have thought it through, and it's time to make a decision, and you just gotta go there. Whether you know it's gonna work out or not. So that could go either way. For, like, whatever hits home with you, that's the message for you. And that goes with all these things. All the readings, all readings are good for your sun, moon, and rising sign. And there's tons of calculators online if you need to know that. Oh, my resident Taurus. I'm trying to deal with the last of my anger towards my past choices. Leave people resentment behind. My coaching business needs a lot of attention. Hair will be steady. Family is tight at home. My extended family needs lots of boundaries. I need boundaries with social media. Yeah, I do just call people out and a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of plates in the air. Like I was saying, like it's so much less of like this little balancing, and it's more of like this, like doing the circus act of how do I keep all these plates in the air, and you can't. So it's okay. You are gonna figure out what's like not worth your energy, and what is. Awesome. That concludes your tarot scopes for what's the date for July? For July 21st and through the 23rd for our new moon in Cancer and Leo season. And yeah,